Welcome back for another episode of the Appsurd Show. Got yours truly, Andrew and Sardor, here for a lovely episode. How we feeling?
Good, man. I'm hyped. I'm so deep in AI that I'm even connecting to this episode for the first time. You know why it took me a little bit longer this time to connect?
Wow,
Because I'm connecting from the Comet browser, my new best browser.
you're
And I
liking the
gotta
browser?
tell you, it's really good. It actually has the one feature that I needed really bad is the AI assistant that's right there for every tab you're on. Like you can ask a question about the page you're on, and you can ask the AI to perform actions. Like today, I was helping my dad do a commercial car search with a very specific criteria. He was looking for a used car under $6,000 that has a refrigerator on the back. It was a truck, right? And he was searching through a big marketplace in Germany to find that. And guess what? I used my Comet browser and I said, find this car with these specific features, and it did the search for me in 2 minutes and laid out the options without me having to like click around the buttons, because remember what we said on one of the podcast episode is that the future of the UI is what is a chat, right? And what the
The
Comet
experience.
browser does is it turns any UI into a chat UI, meaning without you having to, because he couldn't actually figure out the filters. He's like, you know what happened? What's interesting is like he's been using that marketplace website for 10 years and they just did a UI revamp and he couldn't figure out the new filters. He's like, help me find these filters. I can't figure out these filters. They changed the UI. He's so pissed. And I just go and ask the AI to filter by what he needs. I don't even have to figure out the fucking UI. And the AI just does click around and finds it and just puts out the result for him.
That's awesome. And it's funny you say that because I saw somebody post the other day. They go, "We either have made it or this is the start of the end." And what it was is the operator agent on ChatGPT. It thinks out loud and it said, "Right now I see the I am not a robot button. Selecting the checkbox to prove to the website that I'm not a robot." So you got robots thinking through and
Did it work?
checking boxes. Yeah, it was a CAPTCHA challenge,
Wait, the AI could handle the I'm not a robot button?
yeah, it was an example of it thinking through it and clicking it. Now, I
Wow.
I didn't go
Because
super deep to
previously you had to
replicate
click
it.
that manually. That was
Yeah, I
one
didn't
thing that
go
it always
super
asked
deep
for.
to replicate, but it could
Wow.
have been me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because like that's one thing where they needed a human in the loop. You had to always like do that part. When the operator first came out, I remember I bought the $200 a month version just to test it. And that's what every time it would just ask me like click this please. Which was funny. Like it did everything else, but like I had to click the I'm a human button.
It
I
gets
guess
stuck
that's
on
the
the
only
wall.
job that's going to be left in the future for humans is like
Yeah.
click the I'm human button.
You're up, you just get a bell and it's just clicking, yep, I'm a human. Keep going, that's crazy. Wild times, wild times. But let's roll into some example tweets here, and we're just gonna go random through these. We'll start with tokens. So, one of Google's head of AI said that in May they processed 480 trillion tokens across their AI products, including APIs. And now, just 2 months later, that has more than doubled. They're processing 980 trillion tokens
Wow.
a month. And for those who might not be aware, tokens are the general reference of input output with LLMs. You can think of it kind of like the size of a file, kilobytes, megabytes. There's a certain amount of tokens for each prompt, input output. What do you think of this stat,
That's
Sardor?
actually a cool way of thinking. You made a great analogy to like before in the internet era, we used to deliver everything, we used to like measure everything by, size, and now it's tokens. Yeah, that's how like we know the volume basically of things, right? Like if we say his, you know, the data center is processing however many trillions of terabytes of data. Now it's tokens, right? That's how we know
Yeah.
the volume of something growing. So, with that all said, this is a very rapid growth, an exponential, obviously, growth, right? Of like getting to that point, which I think has to do with, pretty sure it's not a coincidence that in this period, Google rolled out a bunch of new AI products. as we all know, this year was marked by Google as their revenge year for AI. They're rolling out their best AI products. And I think a very big chunk of this is, contributed by what? The VO3 model, which has become the best video generation model, right? They knew what to target, actually. Among all their products, they built the best AI product for video. And that video product, as we all know, there have been so many videos that have gone viral that are just hilarious. My most favorite, as I talked about on one of the previous episodes, is the prompt theory video, where it messes with your brain that, these AIs, they're talking about, like, are we created from prompts, or are we, like, born? That the AI is talking to each other, saying, like, some people believe that we're made from prompts type of thing. Anyways, I think this is obviously going to only get bigger, but I don't think that the same rate of growth is going to continue throughout, because this was just the same period where the big leap happened in Google's AI products. Yep. So the rest, it's going to keep growing, but not as fast as this. Yep.
And I think that's good reference for anybody who's looking at building an app with AI in it. That third-party cost that comes up is directly relational to the amount of tokens going in and out.
And you got to be careful with how you engineer. I saw a post today that I don't remember who it was. I think it was my friend who's a solopreneur dev who builds small products. He said something along the lines of, we spent $3,000 on AI API, like LLM API this month, which is, did you see that?
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, like $100 a day. And that was a mistake we made in the code. We basically scraped like double the amount of information, I think he said, than we should have been. So a mistake in the code caused us to spend double on the LLM API. And I was like, wow, that adds up at volume, dude. And then right after that, I saw another meme where it's like, did you see that meme where Trump is talking to somebody and they have a shocking face? And it says, when the CTO shows to CEO that they saved $500,000 this month by spending $3 million a month on AI.
Oh, it's interesting. It just had me go check my API usage on something I vibe coded, because this goes into a common thing. When things are vibe coded, they're not always set up with the proper security or with the proper barriers in place, so that you set caps or limits on a certain user's token usage. Because there's been a lot of these examples. Somebody's like, what do I do with this $3,000 bill, OpenAI? I didn't even know this was possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's something to be careful about. I guess the API tokens usage cost is the next AWS, because previously AWS has been the most infamous for overspending your credits and getting you in debt.
Yeah. And it ties back into what you wanted to talk more about, vibe coding, right?
Yep.
And this all, it's funny how it comes together. I'm going to switch over to this post. I'm curious if you've seen anything about it. So there was a vibe coded app. I'll let you read this to the audience here, Sardor.
There is a I fucked up, quote unquote, right? And there's a quote, I built an app and accidentally leaked the driver's license of thousands of women on the internet, quote, level of fucked up, RIP. Yeah, this is unbelievable. First off, two things, okay? I gotta say two things about this. And this post says what? TLDR, the T app stores everyone's photo and ID encrypted in a public Firebase storage bucket. Ha ha ha. What was this vibe coded? Was this vibe coded? Oh, they guessed it. It was vibe coded. They didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So, two things though. I got to start with the positive, okay? To the community of vibe coders, the good news is, guys, we finally have, another very rare use case of something actually becoming, shall I say, at least for a few days, successful, as far as the product at least worked and it launched, okay, through vibe coding. I don't know what they use. I'd be actually very curious. I think whatever it was built on, do you know what it was built on?
I do not know it was built on.
Okay, so it's good that we don't know for the founders of that platform, because if we know, for example, that it was built on Dreamflow, then, bad news for Abel and Alex, guys, this is not good. bad rep. So you guys are lucky, whoever is the owner of the Vibe Coded platform. Lucky that this isn't, the name is not out there. The second bad news is obviously that this leaked and it's freaking bad. And the funny thing is, the irony here of the app being the anonymous app, right? For gossip, is that what it was? The premise
so
of the app?
let me give a little background context for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Said people built the T app, which was for girls gossiping about their ex, so we're not dating the same guy. They had, if you remember Yik Yak, or anybody out there remembers Yik Yak, it was basically that specifically for girls to vent about their ex. So that's the little bit of background on the app.
Which is a great idea, honestly, because, you don't want to, there has to be a male version of this, by the way. Should we create a AET app, Andrew? The opposite of this, just spell the T app, AET.
It's funny you say that, because I have a tweet pulled up and somebody actually did do that.
Really?
Yeah.
After this, or accidentally? As a response to this?
Yeah.
Box score. Introduce Box for a men-only app for users. I think this is this real?
I tried finding it. I'm pretty sure it's a meme.
Dude, I think we should do this. To all our listeners out there, if you want to do this, we're happy to develop this for you quickly. And I think this will be a hit. I would love to do it. I mean, not that I'm on the market like trying to date women and be like cautious, but like for some of our single guys out there, I think it'll be valuable. I'd love to put out some red flags about some people on the app.
It's definitely a meme, because look at this follow-up post here.
No pours allowed, sorry. Yeah. Oh, man. Makes me want to put that on our website, be like, we don't build Android apps, no poor people allowed.
Yeah, that's terrible. But to wrap up kind of on a serious note here, this shows how important security is on a vibe code build. And you brought up a good point of that some of that needs to fall on the platforms that are building these vibe coded tools. If they're marketing them to the masses, hey, anybody can now build an app. Well, you should have enough general security in there so that this doesn't happen. And what specifically happened was funny enough, the users were signing up via ID. So they were putting in their license to sign up to
Why the hell would you ask for an ID on this? Like, it's very rare to ask for an ID on any app, let alone the anonymous app.
There's some conspiracy theories there, but the location and the IDs and everything in the photos all got leaked of these women, including one at a secret military base. That's been trending, that the DOJ is now interviewing people about it because the location of a secret military base got leaked.
You know what's wild is like, dude, before getting into this business of building apps, I assumed all my info is safe when signing up. Then I realized how, we take care of security, but if you don't, what I realized and getting in this industry is like, if you don't explicitly design your app to be secure, it's not going to be secure by default. As in, like, admins can see every user. And I had a situation a few weeks ago when a friend of mine and I were sitting in his office, and he built this product. It's I'm not going to name the product or him, especially because he doesn't want to be publicly affiliated with it. But it's a very, shall I say, like conspiracy, like a very, like it's a product for a specific, very extreme political audience, so to say. Okay? These are people who believe in a very specific political. I'm not going to say which side of the political spectrum. Just like whatever side. Imagine like these are extreme, extreme political believers, okay? They're not just like blue or red type of people, they're extreme, okay? And he was just like sitting there on an admin panel on the CMS showing me people who signed up, and he was saying, look at this person is a big deal, he's a CTO of this company. Look at this person who's just signed up, there it is. And I'm like, gosh, the fact that we can just sit there and laugh at like people signing up and like see their profiles, who they are, is pretty insane. People who are signing up aren't even thinking about us sitting in the office and just looking and just having a crack at who are signing up for this product.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of responsibility that comes with building the app, that's for sure.
so much, but like the user, I'm sure there were some serious people, Andrew, that I was shocked that were signing up for this product. I'm sure they wouldn't want to be publicly known for signing up for this product.
Yeah.
But when they're signing up, they're assuming that their information is whatever encrypted or something. While in reality, the founder of the app is sitting with me and his friend and showing me all the information.
Well, and you see it yourself when you go to your iPhone password settings, and you have hundreds of passwords saved, and it's like everyone has appeared in a data leak at some point or another.
Yeah.
You think a lot of these big companies even aren't susceptible to that, but everybody is, and
That's why I have a second number, and I use the hide my email feature from Apple.
yes,
Cybersecurity tips, people.
we need a how to stay private and secure online guide created.
Let's create a blog on that. Two tips, two simplest tips you can have. Create a Google Voice account, get a second number that you're going to use only for online signups, which is what I do, and use Apple's hide my email feature, which creates an alias for your email, and that email only works on that specific website and doesn't work anywhere else, which is a genius feature. My prediction, actually, Andrew, on the next privacy update of Apple, they're going to come up with hide my number feature, which is going to create an alias for your number.
Logistically, that'd be interesting to see how they pull
It's
that
really
off.
hard to pull up, yeah. But if they can,
All right,
Yep.
so now we talked about securing an app. Let's go back a layer and talk about how to find a winning idea for an app. Now, this one's pretty straightforward, but I love how simple it is.
oh, I like this.
Yes.
I like this.
So, for those that might not be familiar with how specific you can get on Google search, the image here shows site, semicolon, reddit.com, and then a quote, is there an app for that? So this means it's only going to search reddit.com URLs for the specific keyword phrase, is there an app for that? Great way to find winning ideas. And I'm curious if you've ever done something similar to this, Sardor.
No, I haven't actually, but this is really cool. I mean, I've poked around Reddit for different research purposes, but this is actually great. I mean, although this doesn't account for how big the market is, or like it could be a very niche, like freaking app, right? Like just because somebody asked this on Reddit and like 10 other people said this is a great idea, doesn't mean there's a big market for it, right? And doesn't mean these same people would be willing to pay for this. What I would actually, I have another business idea here is like I would create an app that you run your business ideas by it, and it does a little bit of a market research into like, viability of it and like, who would be willing to pay for this, how big the market is and everything.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can kind of get a look. I replicated the Google search, and a lot of it is general. That there's even a whole group for this, so to say.
Yeah.
But you can see some specifics: pharmacy technician, gluten-free, pools. You kind of get an idea of what topics are the top asked for this. So we got gardening, drums. I think it's good on a surface level, but would be interested to go down further and see if there's really any meat and potatoes to this strategy here. Would be interesting to have operator run a search on this, or the agent.
Yeah, and then put it in a specific format. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, the thing is, you don't even have to like. What I love again about Perplexity, I'm not paid by it. I wish, but like Perplexity's Comet browsers, like it can do it in a natural language. Oh, we got some spicy content here, yeah. So
I didn't notice that this was sharing. Yeah, there's an example of the hook that he.
this is AI. That's actually, we should show this. This is AI.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild, dude. This is extremely realistic.
Yes. Where AI video content generation is, I won't believe anything is real anymore.
You know that on this note, real quick, I don't know if it's true, but like I heard that the OnlyFans founder is like on a rush to sell OnlyFans. I think if he hasn't sold already, because he's concerned about the AI content and like his business model just being vanished because of like AI. Which I thought about it. I don't think that's going to happen because people are still going to crave real people. But there has to be an OnlyFans that's just upfront AI. Like, this is AI, like, but you just still go there and like pay for it.
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't know enough
agree.
sick people that are gonna do that.
I agree completely that that space is ripe for flipping it on its head.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some ancillary tools that emerge that verify whether people are real.
yeah.
Slash creators are going to have to get more
That
creative.
is another business opportunity.
Yeah, yep. And it'll be interesting to see where that goes. It's the most profitable by employee company in the world, not
What?
including.
It's OnlyFans? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're only at like less than 100 employees, I think, right? And they make like billions in revenue.
Yeah, yep, it's pretty wild. All right, let's hop over to um, another vibe coding topic, but more specifically highlighting a company.
Oh.
Lovable hit 100 million ARR in 8 months. The graphic down here shows that they're the fastest from 1 to 100 million out of any of these companies. Large companies on there, Slack, Shopify, OpenAI. I know we've looked at a graphic like this before, Sardor. Any initial thoughts, on this?
Hold on.
Yeah. So it's that they're the fastest company from 1 million to 100
Yeah.
million. Some pretty reputable companies on there. They did it in 8 months, and they're
Yep.
just shipping faster and faster. We've looked at similar graphics before, but let this open the gate to any of your thoughts on vibe coding in general.
There's so many things that I love about this, and I gotta clarify first off, though. Again, don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I think these guys are extremely talented, are legends, honestly, very inspiring guys. They're young. This is not their fifth startup; it's only their second company, I think. Anton's second company. I saw he only co-founded one other company before, and it looks like it wasn't massively successful either. But this is his first like successful company. But to those out there that are seeing $100 million number here, guys, let me clarify. This is annualized revenue based off of their last month they had 8.5. This just means that they had $8.5 million in revenue last month. Okay, so they're annualizing that by 12 or multiplying by 12, and this is the projection of 100 million. A real number may be lower, or most likely in this case, in the next 12 months, this is going to be a higher number, just because of how much hype they got. I think they're going to reach realistically in the next 12 months $200 million. Still impressive. But yeah, that's just some clarification I have to make, right? The shit can still go wrong, and they may not hit the 100 million. Now, this is a projection, okay,
Yeah.
based on the current numbers. Second of all, another interesting thing that I love about this is that second fastest company to reach that number is Cursor, which is their competitor. Freaking incredible. What a freaking place to be in. And OpenAI was just recently number one on this list, And
Yeah.
they got beaten by, what I love about this is that they got beaten by rappers, 2 rappers around LLMs, not around GPT itself. These are rappers around Anthropic's Claude model. By the way, to those who don't know, all these vibe coding tools, they are wrappers around Claude Code, which is the LLM that writes the best code, not GPT. OpenAI missed this train. They are not the go-to solution to build these tools. These are all powered by Claude and Anthropic. Anthropic's winning this game, by the way, behind the scenes. Anthropic is the company that's selling the shovels to the gold rush of vibe coding. And that's just kudos to them. When OpenAI came out, nobody knew about Anthropic, but Anthropic's killing it. So, that's a side note. But this is a
real quick, adding on to that, what I think's interesting is a lot of these people started at OpenAI and went and started Anthropic, right?
Really?
The people who were more safety focused, yeah. The person who started Anthropic was
used to work for OpenAI?
At
Wow. So this is all like a byproduct of OpenAI, which just shows when there's a big market, there's going to be byproducts and there's going to be ripples. When something big happens, a lot of founders, including myself in the past, get scared because they think this is too big of a threat to even try to create a company around this space. But guess what? When a big new wave happens, like what was happening since 2022 with AI and OpenAI, that just actually signals you should run towards that market, not run away from it.
Yes.
Because my first reaction was like, I got to run away from it and save my ass instead of trying to build something around this because it's going to be too dangerous because these guys are too big. No, look at this. Anthropic got created as a ripple of OpenAI. Freaking multi-billion-dollar companies are ripples of another $100 billion company. That's the power of a big market.
And the last, you make a good point, the last four here on this list, or the top four, so to say, have all come in the last couple of years from AI. It's been,
Yeah, what's Wiz actually? That's one thing I don't know. Is it also another?
Wiz is an AI-powered security platform, I believe. I know it's...
Was it this one that Google was trying to acquire?
Cloud security based, they were founded in Israel. Yes, it is Wiz that Google was trying to acquire. Something like that, yep.
Yeah, wow. So all are AI companies. Okay, but 2 out of these 4 are ripples from OpenAI. Ripples. And I think this is the power of like riding the big wave, dude. Riding the big wave. When a wave is so big that it's $1 trillion wave, you can, when no wonder Lovable is a $2 billion company in 8 months. Yeah. The wave of AI is so big that they rode it and they built in 8 months on this big and very fast wave, they built a $2 billion company. That is the power of a big wave. And moreover, this is why we can announce it on this pod. We're launching a new service that gives you a vibe coder on demand. You can rent a vibe coder from us, or you can sign up for our 4-week vibe coding service, where if you don't want to risk spending $50,000 with us, or $60,000, which is our average check, you can try building your MVP in 4 weeks for $15,000. We'll give you a dedicated vibe coder that's going to create a version of your app in 4 weeks. And why 4 weeks? Is because it still takes time, guys. That's another myth we have to bust on this, is like, it's not an hour long or a day long thing to vibe code something. You're going to get a few pages, yes, but there's debugging, there's deployment, there's testing, there's a lot of back and forth with AI that you have to go through, okay? So that's why it's a 4-week thing that we're creating, which is still much faster than a regular coding and a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, there's
riding that wave too.
Yeah, there's plenty of tools that can be built out on Lovable, full end-to-end user database, AI, edge functions, and the whole kit and caboodle. But you have to attack those appropriately and one by one to do it properly. Not something the tools are currently capable of one-shotting. That's why we have a lot of people coming to us. Hey, we have this app built out, vibe coded. Can we work off of it? A lot of the times you can't work off of it if you initially prompt it in a certain way. It's something that needs to be done fairly delicately to be a properly functioning app that you can deploy and trust. But it is possible. Yeah. It cuts down development time by 1/3 and the cost by 1/3 as well.
Do you mind, Andrew, like on this topic, just to wrap real quick, and just I want to make a full loop on this, is going on vibecoding.com. Just let's pull up that post. Let's see what it does. Vibecoding.com, where does it take you right now? You remember? Vibecoding.com.
I was go ahead. I was tricked. It kept pulling up LinkedIn and I thought that wasn't there.
That's what it's supposed to do. It takes you to LinkedIn and it takes you to Dharmesh Shah's post. Dharmesh is the founder of LinkedIn. Oh, sorry, not LinkedIn. HubSpot. Okay, and this is what Dharmesh said. The same thing, 2 days before this post, we were discussing this. I wish we said this on the pod so we could send Dharmesh the pod, but this is what we said. Basically, here he's saying that he bought vibecoding.com for 6 figures because he thinks there's 2 types of vibe coders in general, okay? There's professional software developers like him, for 30 years he's been coding, that can get something done, okay? They get huge leverage from vibe coding. And then there's non-devs that are going to have problems with AI. And they need professional developers and engineers to help them with the vibe coding, okay? And this is why he's proposing to build a community of vibe coders, which is why he bought this domain. And that the free version lets you interact with the community, and the paid version you can like interact with the developers, hire them. It's a marketplace for vibe coders and people who are looking for vibe coding. Why I'm fully agree with this is we were discussing this internally. What we realized is, guys, you all can try to vibe code things and it'll be exciting. at first. What you'll quickly realize that you can't get it from A to Z fully done if you're not an engineer. We're not there yet. AI is not an architect and an engineer. So what's missing in the loop is like between the consumer and the ready product is an expert in this loop that's going to help you get your vibe coding thing from A to Z. Take me, for example. I built so many tools on vibe coding, but I never launched any of them yet. Why? Because I struggle. I sometimes just honestly get sick of like debugging, which is why I contracted to one of our vibe coders internally that we have. I contracted my own project because I need the developer to finish it. I can't finish it. So with that all, this is why we're launching this service, because the biggest thing is that non-devs botch is the architecture and the logic in the beginning. Because if you don't think of the whole logic from the beginning the correct way, and you don't prompt the AI the proper way, you're going to botch the whole project. For example, if you want to build a marketplace that sells electronics, but you don't mention to the AI that this is going to be a marketplace that anybody can post their items, and you just sell, I want a store that sells electronics, it's going to build it in a way that it's going to only let you post those items and not have other users there. And you're not going to even think about it because you're not an engineer, you're not an architect. That's why there has to be an expert in the loop. Between the AI tool and the finished product, there has to be still a developer.
Yes.
And better yet, an agency like us. And better yet, Synergy Labs.
Love it, love it. Yeah, check out our vibe coding services. We're going to be having a new web page up for that soon. But if you want to learn about it now, inquire about it, check it out, reach out to us, and we'll get you scheduled on a discovery call.
Yep.
Beautiful. And I'm a little talked out. I think we'll end it right there if that's good with you, Sardor. Anything else?
I think this was a great episode. I love it. Let's post it. I'm super hyped.